Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today, let's take a look at the 2025 Jeep Wrangler. This is a Willys 41 4xe. It is finished off in 41, and the MSRP is just over $73,000. So let's start off with what this plug-in hybrid is powered by. And in order to remove the hood latches, it is very simple, and then you can grab the one right in the middle and gain access to this 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine. It's also paired with that hybrid system, of course, and then you can easily lock this into place. And it's also paired to an 8-speed automatic. Combined, it pumps out 375 horsepower, 470 pound-feet of torque. It's primarily rear-wheel drive with the 4-wheel drive system. Weighs in around 5,200 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 5.2 seconds. And in terms of its EV distance, you're looking right around 21 miles on that system when it is fully charged. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling, this model comes with a steel front bumper. There's also fog lights integrated into it, and you can even remove these outer sections here if you want a little bit better of an approach angle. Now, there's also gloss black for the grille, LEDs for all of the lighting, where you have DRLs and turn signals on the fender flares. And then this also has the 41 badge and logo in this matte black hood graphic. Now, there's also these bump stops here because you can fold the windshield down and you can rest them on there. If you're at the beach or doing some slow speed driving, very neat that you have the option to do that. There's also a steel skid plate up underneath, and then the 17-inch wheels, which are body colored, which is neat to see. Very wide fender arches too. There's rock sliders for this model. And then with the Wrangler, it's iconic to be able to take the doors off. So you have 2 bolts there, and then you have your electronics that you can disconnect and you can take the doors off. Now, this model also has the hardtop, as you can tell, and it has the My Sky roof option. So with the push of one button, you can open up that whole soft top, which I think is really great compared to some of the hard tops where you have the panels that you have to remove. Now in back, there's a full-size spare, LEDs for the lighting, steel rear bumper with all the parking sensors. With the hitch, this can tow around 3,500 pounds, and there's also the high clearance exhaust on that passenger side. And it does have remote start. You won't really hear it. It'll start up in the hybrid or the electric setting, but you can just hold on that to shut it off as well. Now there's also a proximity door handle in back, which is very helpful. Pretty lightweight. It's very easy to open that up. And then you also have the glass. So now we have access to the cargo space where, depending on the roof options that you have bags here that you can place some items in. I think this bag here is for the side panels because you can remove both of these by pulling those clips out, and then you can remove both of those windows and store them as you go. Now there's also storage underneath. This model has the charging cable currently located there. And you have an area for all of the bolts when you remove the windshield, roof, or the doors. Now there's also an auxiliary, some tie-down hooks, and you have a lot of space. You can even fold down those back seats to get a little bit more interior cargo. Now as we work our way to the interior, the door panels are going to be pretty simple just because you can remove them. You can use this grab handle to close and open the door, or use it to remove the door so you have one underneath. There's also a net at the bottom as well. And then to fold these seats down, just grab on this here and you can fold those out of the way. Not completely flat, but it still gives you a lot more space in the back there. And then at 5'10", I have a decent amount of space. You have some cargo nets there. You have some storage pockets along with vents, the window controls, and then some storage down below. And I have about 4 or 5 inches or so of headroom, even with that soft top closed. So it's pretty spacious to be in the back. Now these seats do not recline, but they do have a slight angle to them just to be more comfortable. Now also on the driver's side, this is how you can charge the vehicle. So it's nicely integrated in that section. Now up front, you do have lock and unlock and mirror adjustments, and then more storage down below. Now this also has manually adjusting seats, so you have recline, incline, height, and of course you can slide it forwards and backwards. So as we start this up now, this has a solid leather steering wheel. There's controls on the backside for your volume and tuning, and then you have cruise control, distance pacing, and then the controls on the left side to go through this middle digital gauge cluster. So the information on the left side and the right side is going to be fixed, and you have quite a lot that you can go through here, just depending on what you'd like to see, and you can even adjust what you want to see within this screen too, so you can customize all of that information, which is very nice. Now to the left, you have your different driving modes. So hybrid is the engine and the hybrid system. You have full electric and then e-save. So that is just going to use the engine and save on your battery. There's a fuel cap release, all of the headlight adjustments, a dimmer switch there. You have a pretty narrow dash with some areas you could possibly place some items. And then with the infotainment system, you have quite a lot to go through. So you can quickly get through all of these shortcuts, and then you have a lot more under vehicle here where you can get into all of this information and monitor all of it as needed. And then you do have apps that you can go into and configure, and then you have shortcuts to your heated seats, heated steering wheel, and temperature adjustments. Now there's vents underneath that, and then physical buttons for the steering wheel and the seats, fan speeds right in the middle, there's temperature, there's also volume and tuning, and then you even have your regenerative braking. So you can turn that on as you would expect for a plug-in hybrid, or you can have that off. There's traction control, parking sensors, a downhill assist, and you can shut that upper screen off if needed. Now there's all of your window controls along with some auxiliaries. You do have 4 auxiliary switches, so if you want to hook up a winch, exterior lighting, you have factory locations to do that. This also has a rear locker and an off-road plus button that you can activate. Now this is your control for 4-wheel drive, so you can go through all of those settings, and then you have your normal gear selector right here. So with reverse, you have that camera, and then you have drive and the manual settings so you can shift down below. Now there's also the e-brake, you have cup holder storage, you can place your phone in the middle, and then you do have a little bit of storage in the upper section and then a lot more in the lower section. There's a locking glove box, and then there's your rear view mirror and the control for this soft top. And then here's a look at visibility. With the squared off windows, you pretty much have no blind spots over either direction. Then I have it in the hybrid setting. We're going to drop to second gear. Here we go. Pedal to the floor. You know, it's not slow. You know, for 5 seconds, 0 to 60 time, I didn't test that, but this can definitely get up and move in that hybrid setting, especially for its curb weight, right around 5,200 pounds. Well, this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the Wrangler. So what I want to talk about now is the different driving modes. So we can go into electric now, where it still looks like you can shift, but if you hear it, it looks like the engine did kick in as I got on the throttle a little harder. But in the electric setting here, you will see the charge meter too on that right side. And we can just kind of coast in electric. Now I don't have a lot on the electric percentage, so let's put it into EV now, where we will just have the engine. So the battery is not going to provide us with any power. So significantly slower here, getting up to speed. So it just depends on the driving that you're doing for the day, which mode you would like to be in, and it just provides you with different ways of doing that. So it's pretty neat, depending on maybe you're cruising at the beach, you just want to be in the EV setting, certain situations like that. And like I mentioned earlier, even off-roading, you could have it in the EV setting, which we were able to test. This also has a very tight turning radius. It's a perfect vehicle for off the road, but parking lot situations and things like that, it's also very beneficial. Now this also has the regenerative braking. So when you turn that on and let your foot off the accelerator, I wouldn't say this is a one-pedal driving system like you would see in a full EV, but it is bringing us to a slow speed. I don't think it's going to completely stop the vehicle, so we're just going to roll a little bit there. But it is going to help in braking a little bit harder to help charge the battery. So if you are low, you can use that to help charge as needed, and obviously you can plug this in at home. With my plug-in hybrid X5, I just use a normal 3-prong outlet. Because it doesn't have a huge range, my vehicle's around 32 miles on just the EV system. It can charge overnight. So unlike a full EV, I don't need to invest in quicker charging systems because it can charge very quickly overnight. So 8, 9, maybe 10 hours, depending on the charging of it. But that's something that you don't have to upgrade to since it's not a full EV. But definitely a very cool SUV to drive. It was unlike any other vehicle offered until Ford came out with their Bronco. So we do have a competitor. I will be making a comparison video with this and a Bronco. So stay tuned for that if you would like to see some of the similarities and the differences with this SUV. But that is going to wrap it up for the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.